Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon for February 7th, 2021, with your host, Peaceburger2448 and 1 Epsilon.
Hi.
We have interesting set of releases.
To say the least.
Yeah. So it's a thing.
Yep.
But before we get into that, Tommy, what you been playing the last couple weeks?
About the only thing I've been playing recently has been Age of Calamity.
How is Age of Calamity?
It has been good. Oddly enough, it's kind of been the thing that I needed kind of deal for right now. Just the mindless, but still has good story with it concept.
Makes sense. I need to get back to it and wrap up the main story so I can get to unlocking the last two characters that are post-story.
There's post-story characters too?
There are exactly two post-story characters.
One,
both of them require different things to unlock. One, you'll have to do a series of it's not like the upgrade stuff. You'll have to do a series of those to unlock. I don't remember how you get the second one. I don't remember the Game Explained video that told you how to do it. Okay, to get the second character, you have to have the first post-game or post-story character unlocked, along with all the other characters before him, so all the story characters unlocked. Then there's a specific challenge somewhere in the 171 to 80 challenge range. If you beat that challenge, you get this character. So, yeah. Strange. It's a bit strange, I know.
yeah.
But it makes sense given the context of who the character is.
I mean, fair.
Well,
I
both
guess.
both characters, but you'll get there. Just because there are dogs barking outside does not mean you need to go out and investigate. No, it doesn't. That's the only reason you kicked my door down.
I keep finding that with the game I get stuck in the I'm gonna do cleanup for way too long. Which is fine on the level sense of things, because I mean I've got Rivali up to level 50 right now. He's my highest leveled one. So it's working for that, but the problem is, I feel like by the time I get to end game, I'm going to be like over leveled hardcore.
That'd be fine. So, I've been back on the Fortnite grind.
As we all could tell.
Yeah. I've enjoyed coming back to Fortnite after like a several month break. It's been nice. They've also like I think they fixed the issue because like most of the stuff that's like new to the season is in Team Rumbles, which is nice. so you're not locked out of stuff if you just play Team Rumbles. So like vehicles and stuff are in Team Rumbles, and so are NPCs that you can buy weapons and quests and stuff from. I think the only thing you can't do quest wise is bounties, because the season is all bounty hunter themed.
Yeah.
That's like the only thing you can't do in Team Rumbles, which kind of makes sense, I guess.
Ish.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm fine. If that's the only thing that's really missing, I'm okay with it. I'm fine. I will deal with everything else. And honestly, it's been nice. The Fortnite Crew subscription isn't as terrible as it seems. It's fine. It's not the best thing in the world, but giving you the Battle Pass, and as I found out, it reimburses you for the Battle Pass if you bought the Battle Pass already. So you get that $9.50 back if you buy the crew after you bought the Battle Pass. Which is nice. The skin is a skin, so if you like the skin, cool. If not, oh well. You can just cancel and not get it. Trying to think. Honestly, it's still Fortnite for all intents and purposes. So if you liked Fortnite, you know, taking like a few months break and then coming back when like the season interests you, or you just get interested from other people, that's not a bad idea. I don't know how long I'll keep this up, but
fair.
Trying to think. Haven't really been playing much of anything else. Been doing a lot of something else, but I'll talk about that later. And I hope the link actually worked, because I wasn't stupid and forgot to make the link work.
The link for your quick draw?
Yes.
Yes, it works.
Good. So yeah, I've been mostly working on that. But we'll get to that. But anything else before we hit the news?
Nope.
All right, first up, a thing we rarely talk about, Final Fantasy XIV. So they announced their new expansion this weekend called Endwalker. Would you like to go to the moon in a Star Destroyer, or a piece of pizza, or the darkness? Take your pick of references. Yeah, my dog. He doesn't need to go back outside. I don't care what dogs are being grumpy. So, the main things coming out of this expansion is the big long story they've been telling since A Realm Reborn is coming to an end. But this is not the end of Final Fantasy XIV. This is the end of more or less just an arc of Final Fantasy XIV story. They have 2 new jobs, so 2 new classes. They only detailed one of them. Give me a second. I'll be back. All right, I'm back.
Welcome back.
So, the new class, one of the two new classes they talked about, because they're not going to talk about the other one until later, because this expansion is dated for the fall. You know how Penny has her swords on strings and stuff, and she does all sorts of fancy cool stuff with it?
Yeah.
What if instead of swords, it's guns? And what if she was also a healer? Because that is the class, and it's Sage? Yeah, Sage. So more or less, they have like bits or orbiters or whatever your go-to frame of reference for these things are. That's what your character will have as a Sage, and you are a healer. Which, okay. And much like a lot of classes they've been doing recently, it is... you don't have to level up any other classes to like access it. You just have to be like level 75 and you can just go do the class. Also, the most interesting thing is they're crunching their numbers. They're running into an issue where some of their numbers have the very hard possibility, if they go any higher, will overflow. One of them is the pull that tanks have on enemies, so threat. There's a very real possibility, if the numbers go any higher, that tank pull will overflow and become 0, which is bad. Very bad. So they are crunching the numbers by more or less cutting them by 80% from like 51 to 75. Which more or less means we are knocking off 3 zeros on the end of numbers to make them not stupidly big. Because numbers are too big. I think one of the in-game bosses for like the most recent patch that's coming up is like 440 million health. That's a raid boss?
Oh, geez.
Yeah. That's an example of we are knocking this shit down. Because it's ridiculous. Like, between that, like, on-screen text for when numbers pop up, like, the damage output from players, boss enemy health, no, everything's got to get crunched down. So, more or less, every number for Final Fantasy XIV in, like, the 51 to 75 level range is getting, like, 4 zeros knocked off the end of it. Because fuck that. Which is probably a good thing, since they're also like, yeah, this is going to help performance on the back end, because the game no longer has to crunch, like, 12-digit numbers anymore. And sometimes 12-digit numbers, like, 6 times a second. For, like, raid encounters. So, yay! That's pretty much the gist of it. It looks interesting. I have an account on Final Fantasy XIV because it's free to play up to like their first expansion, which is Heavensward? I think it's Heavensward. It's free to and including Heavensward right now, which is like free to 60, I think. That might be lower than that, but it's a really like huge thing that they've made free to play. Because they've essentially made the base game and their first expansion free to play. To, like, entice you to play, like, the other 2 expansions in this. But I've been trying to play through 14, like, every now and again to be like, I want to see the cool stuff. Because apparently all the cool stuff is, like, in the expansions. Like, Realm Reborn is fine, but all the cool shit's in the expansions. And I'm like, I want to see the cool shit. So yeah, that may or may not end up being a stream plan for a pre-show one day if I get far enough and get interested enough. Because right now I'm spamming through like story text and I'm just like, I don't fucking care. But any thoughts before we move on?
No, not really. I've kind of not felt like touching a Final Fantasy game in a while, so yeah.
To be fair, this is probably the best Final Fantasy game in at least the last 7 years, if you're not including a remake. Specifically, that one remake.
Yeah, the one remake that everyone talks about.
I would say of the last 5 Final Fantasy games, like number-wise, this is probably the best of those 5. So next up,
some could probably argue number-wise the last
further.
8, but yeah. 7, 8 kind of deal.
What would be the last really good Final Fantasy number-wise if we're counting 14 as it?
I think the last, at least unanimous kind of one would probably be 7. Because even 8 is kind of a mixed bag.
10 is too, I assume? Because I would think 10.
10 might be 10. The next closest. But pretty much anyone that has played a bunch of Final Fantasy games will kind of point to 7.
Yeah.
Also, I see the noise suppression's trying to do it again. Thanks, Discord.
I thought that was you lagging out. It sounded more like lag than noise suppression.
I'm thinking what happened was the mic is peaking at a different point. I meant to hit the settings button and I deafened it instead.
Oops.
I wonder if I do this, if that'll work. Maybe. Possibly. But yeah, I'm thinking for the most part from what I've heard, 7's kind of been the one there. 10 might be the next closest.
Mm-hmm. Because I'm trying to think. 11 is the first MMO, and that has...
Was it 11? I thought it was 12.
Do what?
I thought it was 12, not 11. I might be wrong.
No, 11's the other MMO. 12's Final Fantasy Star Wars.
Oh, yeah. Okay. 13's just 13.
Yeah, 13 is the whole mess of a bag, and then 15 is 15. I know Glock loves 15, but I'm like, I don't know.
I look at 15. I look at the little bit I've seen of Kingdom Hearts 3, and I'm like, oh, we blurred the lines is what happened here. Got it.
Incredible. It doesn't help that both, I think, were suffering hard development times.
Oh, and it doesn't help that I think you can see that too.
Yeah. But, shall we talk Mass Effect?
That feels like a loaded question.
Yeah, kinda is. So, you know how we're getting the Mass Effect Remastered trilogy?
Yes.
Game Informer, because I believe the trilogy is their current cover story, have this wonderful article breaking down like everything to know about the trilogy remastered.
Yay.
So, graphically speaking, with being bumped up, they're all remastered for 4K Ultra HD, enhanced models, shaders, and special effects. Everything's getting updated and looks really nice. I've seen some screenshots of like Mass Effect 1 like compared to the original from this, and it looks way better. Like, I think Mass Effect 1 benefits the most out of this remaster.
That makes sense. And I say that for the simple fact of both Halo Anniversary titles, you can tell a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that does make the most sense.
Yeah.
That the older titles would be getting the bulk out of that.
Cinematics have been given a boost with lighting and feel. There is a quality and performance options, which seems to be a standard these days, I feel like, with a lot of current and next-gen titles. Now, specific improvements from Mass Effect 1, more or less, they're porting over some of the improvements from 2 back into 1. So some better cover for combat, better input and controls, better AI, rebalance of the weapons, no more class restrictions on weapons, which is cool. Some better camera angles, some better sound design in and out of combat, and a complete world building pass across all worlds, which means lighting, visual effects, and audio improvements. It's going to be running at 60 on PS4 and Xbox One, uncapped on PC and next-gen consoles. Actually, that screenshot there is from Mass Effect 1 on the character customization. There will be one general character creator. So you're not going to have, like, you're not going to go from Mass Effect 1 to 2 and have to go through character creator again. It's just one character creator for all 3. But when you do finish, for instance, Mass Effect 1, you will be dumped out of Mass Effect 1 into the general Mass Effect Remastered Trilogy launcher and then have to go back into 2. Or go into 2 manually.
So it's not going to be a smooth transition, and it's going to be more of you are going to feel like it's different games, but it's persistent on the character development or creation.
Character. Because I assume it's going to be pulling from like a universal save file of some sort. Is my assumption.
That makes sense because of how the games were originally set up.
Mm-hmm. Default femship from Mass Effect 3 will be backported into 1 and 2, and then hairstyle options will be more available, including stuff from Andromeda. So a bunch of tweaks to the character creator, and more casual outfits in 2 for when you're walking around on the Normandy. There is a couple of issues content-wise.
Okay.
So first and foremost, no cut content is being put into the remaster. So anything that has come out over the years of being cut from any of the Mass Effect 3 game or any of the Mass Effect games ain't happening. Which, I was about to say, where is it? Okay, it's at the end. On the upper side, most of the DLC content will be present in the trilogy. The downside, there is one specific piece of content that will not be in the trilogy because they lost the code for it. Mass Effect 1's Pinnacle Station DLC will not be present in the trilogy because they no longer have the original code for it.
That's funny.
Yep. Which, to be fair, I don't think that's that big of a deal, because I don't think the Pinnacle Station DLC was anything to write home about to start with.
I just find it immensely funny they managed to lose their own content.
It happens more often than you think in the game industry, unfortunately. Like, the remasters of the Silent Hill trilogy that came out a few years back, they had no source code to work with for those games. Actually, no, they didn't have the full source code. They had a previous build source code that was buggy and not fully complete. They did not have final source code for, I think, 2 of those games. Okay, Pinnacle Station is just like an arena battle tower thing, so oh no. Yeah, that is missing along with all of the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer. It will not be here, which, knowing Mass Effect 3, very much brings up the question, so what about the galactic readiness stuff? Because the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer did play into that. You know, to get the good endings and stuff for Mass Effect 3. They've said they're going to rebalance the numbers to account for Mass Effect 3 multiplayer not being there. So, yay! Although I think they did say to get the best ending, you're pretty much going to have to do everything in the game. So, that might be a problem. They'll have to see how the numbers are.
So we're still gonna ignore the patched together elephant in the room for 3, right?
Oh, the ending?
Yeah.
The extended cut ending will be the only ending available. They are not even going to bother with giving you the option between the original and the extended cut. It's extended cut or nothing. So make of that what you will.
Like I said, so we're ignoring the patched together
yeah.
ending.
Yeah, that's about the best that can be said. They're also adjusting certain camera angles because sometimes Mass Effect decided to put the camera directly into someone's butt for reasons. We're going to be cutting those because those are completely unnecessary. So there's going to be several less ass shots in the game. Probably for the best.
Oh, there'll still be some. We all know that.
Yeah. So yeah, I will give them credit. This is a pretty good remaster, all things considered. I still don't know if I want to take another dive into the trilogy.
Probably not.
Like, I've wanted to do a dive into the trilogy for the stream, but I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I'm committed to doing all 3 games on stream.
No,
two of them maybe, but I don't know if I want to go through 3 all over again.
Oh, but why not? You don't want that ending?
No. Not really.
But I mean, they worked so hard at trying to patch together something after they screwed it up to begin with.
Yes. Yes, I accidentally closed the notes. I was trying to click something else to look at something.
Yeah,
I accidentally clicked the X. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe one day. But, are you ready for more bad news?
It depends on what said bad news is.
So you know how we're getting a remake for the original Prince of Persia? Well, the PlayStation Prince of Persia.
Yeah.
So that has been delayed indefinitely.
Yeah.
Straight from the official Twitter. The dev team has pretty much said, look, shit's rough. We gotta push it back to a later date. We don't know when, though.
So they're moving it back to yes. In the year of yes.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Bear in mind, this was supposed to come out in March of this year.
Wait till the last minute.
This was supposed to come out next month, and they're like, we don't know when it's coming out anymore. Bye.
So what we're gonna effectively get out of this is the same thing that we've kind of gotten with Metroid Prime 4, where it's like, oh yeah, this is a thing, we're just not gonna talk about it anymore.
Bayonetta 3 as well. Actually, the director from Bayonetta 3 has pretty much told people, forget you heard about Bayonetta 3. We'll talk about it later. Which says a lot of the development of that game, I would say.
Yeah.
Forget we announced this. We announced this way too early.
Which, I mean, I understand in Metroid Prime 4's situation. Yeah, I can understand why that one became we're just going to quit talking about this right now. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's like, why did we go completely radio silent on it and not at least say, oh yeah, this has still been worked on, just in case you were wondering.
Yeah.
That's the part where I'm like, and I have a bad feeling this is going to be in that same boat where it's just like months down the road, we're like, yep, still haven't heard nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Hope you weren't holding your breath for it, because yep, don't know.
Well, I have better news. Ish.
I don't know if I like that ish part.
Well, we're getting a new Sonic cartoon.
Oh gosh.
Directly to Netflix. And it is called Sonic Prime. So, Sonic is a Transformer and has claimed the Matrix of Leadership. I wish. But
that would be hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
And I would so watch it.
It'll be 24 episodes currently. Wild Brain Vancouver Studio is the studio behind this. Man of Action Entertainment is executive producer. He did Ben 10 for reference. Nothing else, although interestingly, this will probably be featuring a new set of voice actors for several of the characters, because I believe, and Game Explain's reported on this last couple weeks, the current voice actors for Sonic and Tails have left the role, or left their roles as Sonic and Tails respectively. So someone new will be voicing Sonic and Tails, presumably for this in future games.
Well done.
And I think those people have been Sonic and Tails since Sonic X, I think. I think that is the people that have been doing it. Or it might have been sooner, I'm not sure. I have not tracked the history of Sonic and Tails voice actors.
Nor do you probably want to.
There have been a few, to say the least. So yeah, new Sonic cartoon, yay! Bad news! We are not getting something on Netflix. So you know how we were supposed to get a Legend of Zelda live action series on Netflix?
Yeah.
Well, we're not getting that anymore.
I read something about this and I was like, oh. Yep, makes sense.
So apparently, reports came out that we were getting a live-action Legend of Zelda series, and then at some point between then and now, Nintendo went, "This is canceled," because it got leaked.
And yes, you heard that right. Because it got leaked, Nintendo pulled the plug.
And also, apparently, Adam Conover, the guy from Adam Ruins Everything, was working with, who at the time was working with College Humor. They were working on a series of Star Fox skits featuring stop motion animation, and it was canceled because Nintendo just pulled the plug on it out of nowhere. And this was at the same time they pulled the plug on the Zelda Netflix series. So neither one of those are happening, if you've even remotely heard about them at any point before now. Which is sad, because, you know, the Star Fox one is in reference, said they were going to do it in lieu of Thunderbirds, and I'm like, you know, that doesn't sound like a bad idea, because that was what originally inspired Star Fox's designs, was Thunderbirds.
Right.
So, poo. No live action Netflix Legend of Zelda. Or stop motion skits of Star Fox. Damn it, Nintendo, why can't we have nice things?
Because people have to ruin it.
Apparently. And that is all the news. Outside of, you know, that one thing that apparently both, I think, Netflix and HBO Max are trying to make movies of. You know, the GameStop stocks stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, both Netflix and HBO Max are working on their movie versions of them. Independently, mind you.
Kind of funny.
Also, why?
Reasons.
God,
I mean,
it's so stupid.
COVID. Have to come up with some way to make money.
Apparently. So that takes us to releases.
That takes us to Kill Your Throat.
Yeah, so we've got a few releases. Like I said on the pre-show, our release tracker is broken at the moment because I don't know why.
I know why. I've got to sit down and debug it, kind of deal.
Yeah.
I think it was something that I ran into here a while back, but the release tracker was still working at the time, so I didn't think about it. But it has to do with how I have to connect to the API. I just gotta figure out a different method and rewrite that.
Yeah, because I was doing releases and then nothing was coming up results wise, and I was like, there's no way we have 2 weeks with no releases at the start of the year. I think something might be wrong. Let me check. I go over the game facts and check the release stuff because it's the same material, isn't it? I think.
I don't think it's the same as GameFAQ. I think it's GameSpots.
Well, that's the same thing. GameSpot currently owns GameFAQs. So.
That might be the case, but I seem to recall we had different lists.
Oh, okay. So.
Yeah. Apparently what they put in the API is different than what winds up on GameFAQs.
Fantastic. I would think that would be the exact same thing.
You would think.
So yeah, this week's list is not as
you would
comprehensive
also
as it
think
usually
that
is.
You would also think the GameSpot, would allow outside sources access to their API.
No.
Twitch does. They just implement a stupid way of having to go about it that I'm almost at the point of redesigning one thing just so I don't have to keep fighting it.
Oh, is that where they pull all the titles and stuff for the dashboard?
For the recent videos thing that I did?
Well, I meant, if Twitch is using that API, that's what they use to generate, or to get all the titles for games and stuff.
Oh, I don't know if Twitch is actually using their API.
Oh, okay.
Twitch has their own API. That's what I was talking about. Twitch's API I can use on our site without many problems. Theirs, I can't.
Okay.
Without jumping through hoops.
Because I found out that Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition isn't in their list of titles, and I'm like, how the fuck is it not?
Reasons. Someone didn't think it was important enough to add it. It's probably what happened.
Apparently.
Anyway, there's something else in there too that we've done that I have had to do different. I think it was Kingdom Hearts, actually. I think Kingdom Hearts 2, I can't put it in there as like Final Mix or anything like that. It's got to be the base.
Yeah. That kind of makes sense because Final Mix was only in Japan, released in Japan. So they might not. Well, I say that in several of the Rider games that are in the fucking list, so fuck if I know.
Yeah. And that list is supposed to be worldwide, too.
True.
It's not region specific.
Yeah, that's incredibly stupid.
Yeah. I'm thinking there's something else, too, but I can't think of it right offhand.
Yeah, you either have to put in 2 or put in the 2.5 collection, because the 2. If you put it in 2.5, that technically is 2FM, but not that version.
Right. And seeing as how the randomizer uses 2FM, not the 2.5 version,
it is dumb.
And I don't think anyone I've seen stream it knows either, because I've seen them use both.
I think it just all depends.
So,
on like who's doing it.
Yeah.
I honestly don't pay attention that much.
I usually don't either. But it was a case of I think I noticed it when Hobbs was doing it and he did a raid on someone else that was doing a randomizer, but when it switched over, I noticed it switched the game too, and I'm like, oh. So that's the thing. No one knows how to put the randomizer in there. Because it's this weird in-between.
Yeah. So, anything else before we hit releases?
Nope.
Alright then, releases! We kick off on the 8th with Bill and Tina at the farmhouse, or at the horse farm for Switch. I about said farmhouse.
Also, you said Bill, that's BB.
Oh, BB and Tina at the house horse. God. Horse farm. Horse farm.
You were just all over the place with this one.
Moving on. On the 9th, Doug Flutie's Maximum Football. Football. Football 2020 for Xbox One and PlayStation 4. I say that when today was Super Bowl day.
Also, noise suppression's kind of muffling part of it, I noticed. So, back off it goes again.
Also, for those listening who are curious, the team with Tom Brady on it won. No one should be surprised by this, to be honest. Anyway, Hero U, Road to Redemption for Switch, Hexagon Defense for Switch, and My Universe Pet Clinic Cats and Dogs for PlayStation 4 and Switch. On the 10th, hashtag Sinaka Attack for Switch, and Choices That Matter and Their Heroes Were Lost for Switch. On the 11th, Ad Ground for Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and Switch, Death Crown for Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and Switch, Healer's Quest for Switch, Little Nightmares 2 for Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and Switch, Negative, The Way of Shinobi for Switch, On the Road, The Truck Simulator for Xbox One, Romance of the Three Kingdoms 14, Diplomacy and Strategy Expansion Pack Bundle for PlayStation 4 and Switch, Summer Catchers for Switch, The Flower Collectors for Switch, Tri-6 Infinite for Switch, and Undermine for Switch. On the 12th, number 1 Crosswords for Switch, Endurance Space Action for Xbox One, Galgun Returns Birthday Suit Collector's Edition for Switch, Halloween Forever for Switch, Outbreak Lost Hope Definitive Edition for Xbox One and Series X, Rover Wars for Battle for Mars. That might be Mars.
Might be, but I don't actually know.
1 second. Did I drop the S on accident on that one? It wouldn't surprise me. Yes. It's Mars.
Battle for Mars.
Yep. It's Battle for Mars. And I also forgot to put that this is Switch.
Well,
Oops.
I mean, if it's coming out on anything else, then I'm going to be surprised.
Yep. And Super Mario 3 World plus Bowser's Fury for Switch. On the 16th, hashtag Drive for Switch. Annapurna Interactive Deluxe Limited Edition for PS4, Azure Lane Crosswave for Switch, Brutal Rage for Switch, Fallen Legion Revenants for PlayStation 4 and Switch, Hellpoint for PlayStation 4, Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate for PlayStation 4, and Speed Limit for PlayStation 4. On the 17th, Kick It Bunny for Xbox One, SNK vs. Capcom Match of the Millennium for Switch, and Void Gore for Switch. On the 18th, Anodyne 2 Return to Dust for Xbox One, Series X4 for PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch. Astrologaster for Switch, Capes Escape Game Second Room for Switch, Cathedral for Switch, Classic Os for Switch, King of Seas for Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and Switch, and Speed Limit for Switch. On the 19th, Gravity Heroes for Xbox One and PlayStation 4, Puss for Xbox One and PlayStation 4 and Switch, Speed Limit for Xbox One, and Thomas Was Alone for Switch. And on the 22nd, Drowning for Switch. On the 23rd, BB and Tina at the Horse Farm for PlayStation 4 and Switch.
Hey, you did it right that time.
Yay. Curse of the Dead Gods for Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and Switch. Johnny Bonacera Full Season for Switch. Persona 5 Strikers for PlayStation 4 and Switch. I need to pick that up. I'll probably pick it up on PlayStation 4. I'll probably just order it off Amazon and be like, ship that to me, please. Rogue Heroes Ruins of Tassos for Switch. Taxi Chaos for Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and Switch. On the 25th, Code Realize Wintertide Miracles for Switch. Demons Rise Lords of Chaos for Switch. Forward to the Sky for Switch. Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection for Switch. Hellpoint for Switch. Littlewood for Switch. Mike Dies for Switch. Revoluplique for Switch. Steam Prison for Switch. And Wrath Aeon of Ruin for Xbox One and PlayStation 4 and Switch. And finally, on the 26th, Bravely Default 2 for Switch. I didn't know it was coming out this early. I forgot about that. And Retromania Wrestling for Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Which takes us to quick draws and mine. So I've been busy 3D printing stuff. and modeling stuff. Unfortunately, this is in the wrong order.
Which order was it supposed to be in?
The reverse order.
Good one.
So, what I've been doing mainly is for these candy toy bases or candy toy stands I got, there's this little small panel that's a blank panel. And I think it's mainly just to be a spacer panel for like other stuff it comes with. But I had the thought, I could etch a logo on something this size. So I did. So I have etched up Ichigo and Nigo's, V3's, and Riderman's. And I've only gotten to print one of these. I didn't get to print any more today like I was wanting to. But I also like painted them black because my printer prints or has like this clear red plastic inside of it at the moment. And that is my current Shoto X shelf. And more or less the idea I'm wanting to do, just replace each one of those like clear panels with the logo. It actually looks pretty good. I could have upped the light a little bit so you could probably see the Ichigo logo better. But I think the further down it goes, the clearer it will get, because it'll be closer to the light source. But as I found out, there's a very good tool that I'm not sure if I was taught this tool or not. I'm pretty sure I wasn't. But there's this tool called a spline tool. What it is it lets you put down a line, but it puts it down as a series of points that you put. And it can be as many points as you want to like whatever you're connecting. And those points act as like control points for you to kind of like maneuver the line into like the right curve you want. So you know all these odd curves and stuff for like the antennas and like the headlights on the motorcycle and all that. Those are all splines because they are not like regular shapes. And it is the only way I could think to do them. The spline tool has been a godsend.
Sounds like it.
I also think I need to up the size of the Riderman one. Because it looks a little too small compared to the others. And yes, Riderman's logo is just a triangle with 4 dots in it. That's what his belt is. So yeah, I'm hoping to, for those wondering why there's so many like empty spaces, it's for all of the original 7, so Ichigo through Stronger, plus Tackle, plus Stronger Charge Up. So I'm doing one for each of those. Unfortunately, Tackle doesn't have an official one, so I'm going off an unofficial one that someone made. I tried to get a Gambarai card of Tackle to see what the logo for her is, because usually the Gambarai cards have the writers' logos on the back of them. But it was a pain in the ass to try to get a hold of the card, and I was like, "Fuck it!" At this point, I'm not gonna bother. I'll just use this unofficial one because I see what they did. They just made the logo out of the T that's on her belt, and technically, I have a different Stronger emblem than the one he's supposed to have. So the one I have will be for Charge Up, and then the other one, which is his official one, will be for his regular form. But all that is what I'm going to be modeling up over the next couple weeks. Because I want to get this project done first. Because I'm kind of on a roll. Because I have a template. I have a template of just this panel with like the pegs and stuff saved. And I already like saved as all of the different files I need. So I can just etch in so I can just go in and do my sketch and stuff. Because also the other thing that's helped is there's a thing called Sketch Picture as a tool. So you can import an image, and it has to be the certain set of files for it to actually work. You can import it in, and there's like an auto sketch tool and stuff on it that you can try to sketch at. That can try to recognize what's what on a high contrast picture. It doesn't work for reference. Like, you know that top square on the Ichigo logo?
Yeah.
It thought that was a circle.
I mean,
Like a big circle.
That's circular.
Like a full circle around the entire thing that's bigger than the actual square itself.
That's circular.
It also thought the wheel on the logo was a triangle.
That was smaller one I could understand.
That is smaller than the wheel.
That one I could understand.
So the tool is garbage, but it puts the picture on the surface so I can more or less sketch on top of it, which expedites the process greatly, because now I can just go, all right, spline tool, just line me up on the edge. I just have to get into the ballpark and just line up everything. So thankfully, no one's logo is as complicated as Ichigo's. Like, V3's is just this V and a 3. Riderman's is this triangle with 4 dots. X's is just an X. It's just a stylized X. Amazon's is like his belt, which is like 2 eyes, like the bar on, like the bar through his belt, and then like one little piece that connects those 2 bars. Stronger's is just a stylized S on both fronts, and Tackles is just a stylized T. So really simple things. But I hope to have these done over the next couple weeks so that this project's done. I did have someone in the Soda Pop Discord when I showed one of these say that apparently you can etch your own logo in the stuff through Shapeways. If I were to do them on mass, because I also said I might model up all of the main riders. Which is a lot. Like a lot. For reference, that's about 35 logos in total.
Yeah.
Like, I won't print them all off, but I will at least model them all. And I will just throw them on my drive and just be like, hey, anyone want these? I did them all.
And who are you lying? You'll at least print a few of them off.
Well, I don't have any use for them currently. I say currently.
Uh-huh. Because as you'll be making them, you'll realize, and then, yeah.
Okay, I won't have a use for most of them. I'll only have a use for about a handful of them. That'll be modeled on the back end. From
Fair.
like, I don't know, like double onward.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the ones I kind of figure.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my next project. Once I'm done with this, I actually have an idea of how to do the knife I want to do, because I've now discovered the use for the spline tool, and I'm like, this simplifies things greatly for me. Because now I just what I'm gonna do for the knife is model it from like the handle up. Like if you're looking at it from like the blade down to the handle, like a top view, I'm gonna model like the base of it, model it up to a certain point, but because it tails off at a certain angle, I'm just gonna leave it blocked, and then I'll model the top part in of itself, and just extrude that to like the entire length of or entire width of the blade, and that should be the blade. Then I have to figure out how to print it, because modeling it in of itself is one thing. Modeling it to print is an entire different thing. Because you see how these logo stands are, right?
Yeah.
I can't print them as is.
Really?
Well, think about it. If I try to print them standing, they may not stand while it's being printed. It might fall over. Because it's not stable.
Ah.
But if I try to print it face down, Well, and also it might have trouble like printing like the intricacies of the logos because there's nothing there to support it as it's printing that. So I have to print it like lying down with the logo facing up at the printer or at the printer head. But if I do that, the pegs have no support. So what I had to do was I had to model a couple of these like half panels that encompass the end of the peg that are thin enough to support it, or like they're thick enough to support it, but they're thin enough that you can just break it off after a print. So they're not like super thick. And that is good enough to get it printed. It leaves a little excess on the peg, so it makes it a little tight. But if you have like a file or something, you can like shave down the little excess and get it back to where it should be. If it does at all. Because it only did it on one peg for me when I did a print like this.
And I think I see the problem with what I would suggest too, because of what you said about the emblem wouldn't have anything to support them.
Right.
Because I was thinking upside down, let the pegs be at the top, but yeah.
If there's nothing to support the thing, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have to figure out how to make the knife head print, which what I'll probably end up doing is making like more or less a weapon stand for the knife that will have like a large base, a peg, and then like a small bit of material, like enough to support it, and then like the actual knife with the peg on it. So that when you print it, you just snap it. And whatever's left on the bottom of the peg, you can just shave off or just ignore it because it'll be covered up by the hand, so who cares?
True.
But that's like the next few projects. And then after that, it's figuring out the gun. Because it has all sorts of indents and stuff on it. But if I can figure out how to get this knife to print, the gun will be a little bit easier, I think.
You hope.
I hope. Yeah, that is me working on 3D printing stuff. Using some part of my engineering degree. But you don't have a quick draw, correct?
Correct.
All right, then that will pretty much do it for us. Tomorrow, we're talking 3 important episodes in a clip show of Dragon Knight.
All right. You told me about the clip show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the 3rd episode, for reference.
I couldn't have been the last one.
Don't worry, the recap will be, this is a clip show, we're moving on. I skimmed through it, to be honest.
I'm sure.
But Thursday, we pick back up where we left off on Xenoblade Chronicles. Friday is more part-time hunting and stuff with Master Chief Collection. Saturday is something.
Thing.
More or less.
I don't know yet.
And that brings us back around to TGSR properly again Sunday. So if you like what you're seeing, drop a follow. Really appreciate it. Chipping away at that affiliate goal. At TGSR on Twitter. Gets you updates when we go live. Next page point, Discord and chat. Get your Discord link. Drop by. Say hi. We'll see you tomorrow, folks.